Thank you for joining us tonight. It's 6:30 and we're calling the meeting to order. And we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Look, it's our fan, our number one fan.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Bolin.
Here.
Dwyer.
Here.
Hanser Maynard.
Here.
Irwin.
Here.
Marucci.
Present.
Nasri.
Here.
O'Neill.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Slowinski.
I'm here.
That's approved.
Excellent, thank you.
August. Nobody ever asked you if you're here. I just thought I'd ask.
Here.
Yay! All right, next on the agenda is public comment for items on the agenda. Okay. Anybody, one, twice, three times? Okay, moving on. New business. We have the approval of minutes from the January 25th meeting.
I'll move it.
Move it, okay. Anybody second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, good to go on that. And we'll start next is the old business. First up is update on our draft RFP and discussing suggestions. Did everybody receive the latest RFP? Yes?
Yes.
I see somebody
There's
looking.
just one, right? When you say latest, the one,
Yes, the one that you sent out to everybody. Yes, okay.
One from Joe, or she edited one, right? And we got one edited from her. That's all I got.
Okay, all right. So, we should probably go through. Joe or Brad, would either one of you like to, would you like to?
why don't we take?
Sure. Is there a copy of this? I didn't bring one.
You can use mine.
Thank you.
Yep,
Sure.
we'll share.
Ooh, notes.
Oh, yes, yes, you can use my notes too.
Yes, oh, good, I'm glad you have notes. So the first page and the second page, I know this is worthless, but it's a thing I picked up 37 years ago, my first job, and I've kept that form forever, because I'm comfortable with it. So it's very standard. I can tell you this right now, the date of March 10th, 2022, I just threw it in there. So we'll massage that however this group wants to do it. That was just chosen, I looked at the calendar, and said, sounds good. And that would float one way or another. Then the second page is just a notice that when we used to do notices in the paper, and I'm not sure, do we strictly use Mitten here only, August?
You can use whatever you want me to use.
Yeah, well, Mitten is
put it in the
free,
paper.
so.
Yeah, Mitten is the action.
It's a
That's
pretty
where it's
wide
at.
exposure.
Yeah.
So there's probably no reason for it. No one's gonna read the.
No one's gonna bid for this when
the
they saw it in
Gateway Tribune by going
CG, you
and
know.
seeing this, like, oh my God, I didn't know.
Yeah, we'll have to tell
You'll get
them.
really good exposure in Mitten, because there's hundreds and hundreds of communities, plus we're not looking for community, but consultants that are out there all over the place. And they do, I've seen everything from hiring of architects, engineers, lawyers, any type of professional service. So
It's the clearinghouse.
That will give us, yes, that will give us all the exposure we want.
You gotta change the header.
To,
You gotta say these points. On that page.
oh, do I? Yeah, you know what? Oh, God, yeah.
I do that too.
Yeah, it's when you're such a lawyer, you got to think I was doing something. Okay, thank you.
The other question, do you want to just ask questions as we go?
Yeah, let's just, so we followed what, Brad and I were at the library 2 weeks ago, Saturday, and we saw the one that August got for us from someplace, Somerville, Massachusetts, I think.
Skip's in it.
Yeah, that he said to me, like,
It was
well, Bonnie,
pretty-
we're sitting here. He's
Thank
like,
God that he did, because it really, like I said, I changed some things in there, but let's go through it
Okay.
and let's go with questions or comments or suggestions that people have. And
Well, the first thing I had was the first paragraph.
Okay,
And we talked about,
What page are you on?
it's the one that says city, request for proposals.
Okay.
And the first paragraph says, at the bottom of the first paragraph, at that time, all proposals will be opened and read aloud in the city council chambers.
right. I take that because when bids aren't very often open in public anymore, which I really miss, but bid openings are public. So if you want to really say that you're on the up and up, August doesn't go in his room, close the door, and look at the bids and come out with a magic, oh, here's who I determined. They're open in public, because in the old days, especially for construction bids, bidders would show up. And they would write down, Brad bid this, August bid this. So it's done publicly, so that way people know that something nefarious isn't happening behind the scenes.
I see the only thing with that is in city council chambers is not the most conducive place to do it. We do it back here.
And you know what, I'm fine, you know what, I took a guess that it was in the city council chambers, because they have chairs.
Okay.
You want to put here, got, not a problem.
And I just wasn't sure, being new, I just was asking the
Right, a
question.
lot of times they're open right at the counter.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's a quick one, he
If
wants
there's
to like
like
the counter,
three,
my best.
We'll post it specifically, like time that we're gonna open it, that's all part of it. We'll say in the conference room.
Yeah, that or later, we just say at City Hall, because
Yeah.
they're gonna walk in this one room, they're gonna see you, and at 2:01 or
Yeah, we'll put lots of
2:01,
it tomorrow.
you're gonna be walking over. Okay, so why don't we just say City Hall?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I was wondering because when we're talking about the evaluation criteria, the first paragraph says, all proposals will be reviewed by the Clausen Charter Commission.
After
yeah.
he opens at our next meeting.
Okay, and that was my question of how it flowed.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
open them, I'll scan them all in, send them out. If you, anyone, what time did you put on there?
I put down, I chose what we choose in these point, I chose either 10 or 2, I can't remember what time I.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Are you like them?
That's fine with me. I just wanted, if you wanted to do it at 5:30 or sometime where someone else, where it's easy for someone else to be there, if you want to be there, that's an option.
I don't
Otherwise,
care about it.
it'd be myself and I'll grab somebody else from City
Okay,
Hall. to sit
who
with
are
me.
you reading it aloud to if no one is here? That's
Yeah, I mean, there's always two of you for bid opening no matter
Right.
what. Just, so I'll grab somebody,
Oh,
probably
okay.
Nick.
You're reading aloud
do
to
it.
the bidders,
Yeah,
not to the staff or the mayor and council, you're reading aloud to the bidders.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
yeah. That's,
Alright.
they get to hear what the other proposals were. They
Yeah,
get copies of
who
it.
and
It's
what.
all foilable once those envelopes are open.
Yep.
Okay, good, yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
It's a
Okay.
neat, I miss it, I love it in person. I don't like opening them
Oh, I've never seen it. I've always done.
It's
in
the only
person.
way to do it.
Yeah, it's the only way, it's the only way to do it.
The new kids who are running the show now do it electronically. That's what I hate. But, so that's how it's done.
Okay.
And again, I follow through with the normal procedure. Remember, we may make a recommendation, the council could accept it, they could throw it out, say, we like our guy, whoever that is. I don't see that happening, because I think it'd be crazy to do it after we do all the interviewing and talking and coming up with a suggestion. But that's how it's gonna work. They will make the actual appointment of the person.
Okay.
Why?
Nothing here?
Because only they can obligate funds. We can't obligate funds.
The reason I bring that up is a separate elected board. We're autonomous. And they have to, by law, give us a budget. They gave us a budget. And then we want to spend that money on something that we have to have for our duties. My point is, this is who we want to do this. What if they say they want my brother-in-law?
Then they'll have to explain it to the public. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. They want to say I want my brother-in-law to have the job, and even when you interview or submit a proposal,
For whomever.
I'm fine with it.
I was the staff liaison to the cable committee in Southfield, and nobody was allowed to talk to the cable board but me. And, or not the cable board, but the consultants had to go through me. There was a buffer. And I'm not gonna bore you with this, but the stuff that went on.
Oh.
Anyway,
The dirtiest
Yeah, well, we're
thing around
not,
the
yeah,
state.
we're just going to do our due diligence of recommending who we've already done, who we're gonna choose to interview. We're gonna go through that process, and we're just gonna do it
I think
how we all
yeah.
agree on doing it.
Right, we
And
brought it up well, I brought it up last meeting, and we all agreed that that's probably not gonna happen. City council's not gonna,
They have their own fish to fry right now.
yeah.
And if they,
Not that it couldn't happen, they could do it, I agree, but I don't see them doing
they're
it.
gonna have a lot of explaining to do. It's like, we not interviewed these 3 or 4 or 5 people, and we think it ought to be this person A. And you guys think it ought to be B, C, or D. You're gonna have to explain it to the public,
Right.
not us.
Brad, what did you have to say?
Well, Madam Chair, if I recall, I'm not looking at our minutes from last meeting, but when we talked about this 2 weeks ago, we go through the process, and then we have a fairly strong presentation for the city council. This is the process that we use, this is how we made our selection, this is the consultant that we wish to work with. And if that is made in that fashion in public to city council, we don't anticipate that
Yeah.
they would do anything but approve our choice.
Yeah. I don't think any, yeah, okay. So does anybody else have any recommendations or changes for,
The evaluation criteria?
mhm.
This is a draft, feel free to make any recommendations, suggestion, inclusion, deletion, catching an error.
On line 6, on page 3, is the first paragraph.
So what's the name of it? Is the paragraph?
Evaluation criteria.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're page 3 from the back. Got it.
Okay, line 6 at the end, you have and, should be and. You have it.
Yeah, you're right. Got it.
Yes.
The proposal from Somerville or whatever, they had like 2 or more, like when you had a Likert scale, highly satisfied, somewhat satisfied, neutral. I'm like, I'm not getting into all of that, you know, we're splitting here. I thought highly qualified, qualified, and unqualified were where we wanted to keep it at.
Yeah.
What other comments on paragraph 1?
I didn't have anything there.
None?
Samantha, you speak so darn
I
softly.
didn't have anything else there.
Thank you. That's what I thought you
Yeah.
said.
I marked it all up, all my changes are in red, this is clear, so we're good.
You did, you marked all your changes?
Yeah,
Because
I put it in Word and like actually
You're
marked it up, so it tracked my changes, so.
Okay.
Mine's
So-
good?
Yeah.
Anything on paragraph number 2?
Fourth sentence now,
Pardon?
fourth, line down, I think it's supposed to be the.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I was looking for, got it.
Can we change that to
H.
H?
Other changes or recommendations on 2? Okay, going down the selection process. I don't want to keep naming paragraphs. Please come forward with what you have. I can't believe Brent and I did that good of a job. Maybe we did, Brent.
You guys did a good
Yeah,
job.
Well, like I said, whoever got us the, thank God they gave us that. It was so darn helpful.
Yeah, it was very comprehensive, and I made a few notes on that, and then when I got yours, and it just, yeah, there really isn't much. You guys did a great job.
Anything else on that page? So we flip the page,
I don't see anything.
and there's 2 lines at the top before the first full paragraph. Anything in the first 2 lines? Okay, how about the next paragraph, rule for award? This is pretty standard, only because of timing for when we meet, writing up the recommendation to when the council meets. There's always a time and people expect that. But they also like to see that it's sort of a small window versus I put a bid out there and 6 months from now I hear nothing. Do I submit other proposals to other people? You know, do I extend myself where I can't meet another? So that's why, I put 60 days, we could make it a little tighter. And it wouldn't be unusual to go to 45 or to 30. 30 is a little hairy only because if you end up with a 5-week month where the council only is off for 2 weeks in a row, then it throws it off a little bit. So go to 45, if that puts pressure on us in a good way, I'm fine with it. I put that other thing about the additional 30 days, I was thinking, what if we end up with a problem where we have 1 or 2 council members whose brother-in-law needs a job? And we want to try to work through that behind the scene.
So how
Well,
about we
there's
change
job
it to
postings
45
right
days?
there.
I'm fine with that. Listen,
Okay.
you know, I already mentioned, so you want to keep that 30 days, I can put in there as a buffer, and, or do you want to change 60 down to a lower number, so that way we get going?
Well, and I mean, it just says within 60 days, so we don't have to take all 60 days. We could certainly just, you know,
My belief is our plan is to interview these people and come up with a recommendation within a day or 2 or 3, and
Yeah.
as soon as we can, go to the next council meeting after that.
So why don't we change it to 45,
You fine with that?
and then 30 additional if we need it?
Yep. How about the next one?
So the only thing I was wondering, and maybe this is not, I don't know, it was just an idea. Like, do we want to explain more in the background about like our board and the structure, or is that unnecessary? Like, I just, you know, that we're a 9-member elected, you know, do we need
I
to do
think-
that?
I gotta tell you, I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
To say that we
Just briefly,
were
couple
elected in
sentences.
office in November, I got,
Yeah, just so they are coming into it with an understanding of how we were formed and what we're doing, and then do we need to mention somewhere, like, I mean, like, our meeting structure and like what assistance we can provide, like that we have August, the city clerk, who is acting at, you know, like, do we need to explain that, or is that more,
I think they expect that.
okay.
That either through him or through one of us that this would be
Okay.
done. But I do like the idea of the background.
Okay.
Do you have any suggestions, do you have a suggested paragraph?
I don't yet, but I could write something if you'd like.
Why don't you do that? Because I think it'd be good coming from you.
All right.
If you send it to me, I'll include it.
Sure.
Now, the key thing, the scope of work.
Ten and 11 tabs here.
Yeah, I guess I'm not skilled enough in the word, but
Oh,
okay.
I get all messed up with that stuff, I just do it.
This is the automatic. This is how, once you go into double digit.
I figured we'd go through at the end and fix any formatting or typos or whatever.
That, or let's get rid of 10 and 11, so I think, if I'm at single digits, I can handle it. Double digits are what get me in trouble.
So I wanted to find out, I like the idea, the one thing that Skip sent us on, I don't know, it was page 3 or something, 4. They actually had, it was a 1.2, they actually had a proposal schedule where it lined out, the RFP was issued this date, this is the deadline for submitting it, is this date, the proposals are due this date, and it's like a little chart. And I like it, because I think it's very clear.
Do you have that with you?
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, that, okay. Maybe I shied away from it
Yeah.
because how complicated
Breakdown.
that.
yeah, it's like a breakdown, and
It's this one.
I'm
Yeah.
suggesting that we add that in there, right there,
We're at,
right underneath 11,
okay?
or wherever else is applicable, but I just like the format of it.
I mean, should we put that up where we're talking about the 45 days and
Yeah, I
the
think-
selection process?
I think that would make more
The
sense.
rule for award?
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
This
I'll make a note.
Joe, and they're saying over by the rule of award.
Insert something like that.
Yeah, on page 4.
oh, okay. Yeah, something that just gives them,
A new paragraph under rule of award.
Or Laura was saying this chart.
Oh, chart, either way.
Yeah,
Proposal
the-
schedule 1.2.
I know one thing, I surely don't have the skill to recreate that chart.
I think I can
That-
help with some of the formatting if you need.
Perfect.
yeah, you see it's this one?
You just
Okay.
need life on this stuff? I have more important things to
I'm not nearly that good.
do. I know.
So if we can come up with that, so one thing before we leave tonight, we should look at dates, obviously, and then look from, okay, the date that these are open, he's got to copy them, And then we gotta give people probably like 10 days. In fact, if we do that in here, maybe is that in that chart in terms of when the interviews would be held? It's
No, but we
not,
could-
we would either.
It's not, but we can add that.
I think we should add it, that way people know, keep this date open.
Yeah, it goes from proposals due to contract award, so that would be decision. So yeah, we'd have to throw it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll create that chart or some narrative under paragraph 2 under rule of award, correct?
Mhm.
And Samantha, thank you in advance. And then you're gonna come up with a paragraph regarding our history.
I'm making notes about my service.
I think that'd be excellent.
The other thing that I am wondering would be a good idea is where we have what's to include with the proposal, and there's a cover letter. And the one that, I think it was the one that Skip sent us, their cover letter recommends having all of the contact information for the person who's giving us the proposal.
I was gonna do that, and one thing after I did this, because I need to have a concluding paragraph saying, here's how we want you to structure your letter or your proposal, but at the very end, because I didn't ask for it, I need to ask for something for pricing, what's included, what's extra, and so forth. And normally, they would put that in there, on a regular bid, you know, I want to build something, you'd always say who signed the bid and who's going to work on this project. So we do need to put something there, because we don't want this guy to come and do the interview and another guy to show up and do the work. And if it's a team, we want to know who the team is, because we want the team here to do the interview, not just one guy or the other guy.
Okay. Yeah, I was just recommending that on the cover sheet,
Okay.
the cover letter, that they actually have all of their info on it.
Okay.
So if we have 5 people in there and we have cover letters on top for each one, then we know if we want to send them an email, we just look at the cover letter for this guy or
Okay.
their name, or just to make it more
Is there good
organizational.
language in the Somerville proposal?
Cover letter.
You could just put something like, please include all contact
Oh.
information in the cover letter section.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that
Contact
I send it
info,
on
phone
letterhead,
number,
right?
email, whatever we want. Just
We want-
add it in that area. Unless we also add it on what you want to give.
I am going to put it in the back side as well.
Okay. Or maybe we can create one
I mean,
and then have them put the information on it. You know what I mean?
Like a
Like,
form?
have like a form, and that standard form, so everyone has the same exact form. And then we can put what we wanted on it. You know, like if we want the email, the name, the email, contact number, address, whatever, then everybody fills it out the same way.
Do that. I would think that if they're proposing or they're doing this, they're gonna use their letterhead,
They will.
which is gonna have their
All that on
stuff
there.
on it anyway.
Okay.
Clearly, they'll, and their letter is specific to the name of the firm and then their name underneath it.
Right.
You know, absolutely. And that's going to have address, email, phone number,
Right.
whatever, cell and office, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
But We'll
so-
put it in here real short. We'll just put a sentence or two in here to say, list all this in your cover letter as well.
the cover letter section in the Somerville does seem to be inclusive of like what you're looking for.
Mhm.
So,
But if they're gonna have it on their, you know, we probably might not have to request it if they're just gonna submit it that way. Which will
We
probably,
can't hire you if you don't include all your information. I would think that's pretty standard. I mean, and if they don't, then we don't want them. They're not detail oriented.
Well,
right, and I was just thinking more organizationally, not, like, easier for us to not have to ruffle through everything, was more the point.
You won't, believe me, these guys,
Okay.
like I said, every page will have their name and address and whatever on it.
Okay,
especially
enough.
the cover sheet.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm good with that.
If not, we do like they do in college. You don't put your name on the paper, you get 5 off. So you start off with a 95.
Line 3 and number 1 should be similar, work similar. What to include in the proposal.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Number
okay,
one,
you get it.
Number 3, work similar.
That's what line 3. I heard number 3. I swear to God, I spelled check this.
I just want to know I read it.
Maybe I put these in on purpose.
That's what you do. I used to put budget mistakes. You give it to the department head. And
Did
see
you have
if
a
there's-
question, Samantha?
They didn't read
Yeah, I
the
just
budget.
didn't want to So it says up to 5 client references. Do we want to specify a minimum? I mean, I like up to 5 because not everyone's gonna have 5 because it's not like people rewrite charters all the time, but like, do we want to have like a minimum? Like,
I think 3 to 5 would be.
How about a minimum of 3
okay.
and no more than 5?
But would most of, I mean, do you think they're gonna have 3?
You'd be surprised, there are not a lot of charters that are rewritten.
Right, so I'm worried that they're not gonna have enough.
Very unusual. I haven't talked to another manager that has been involved in a charter.
I've
you
never,
know.
I've never had.
And you've been doing it how long?
50 years.
Yeah, not that, you're not that old. You've been doing it 40 plus.
40 plus.
Yeah, 40, not 50, don't try to glom onto 50.
So do you want to swing for maybe
I've been-
2,
I've been-
let's say do the 2 to 5 instead of it being 3 to 5?
Yeah, maybe.
I was in high school.
I don't know, maybe we do just leave it as up to 5 and maybe we'll, I mean, because we don't know that. It's like, we don't want to disqualify someone.
Up to
No
still
more
than-
means including of 1
I mean, I
to
think up
5.
to 5 is fine. I was just thinking, like, do we want to have a minimum, but now thinking it through, like, we very well may get 5 candidates who none of them have done this before.
You're probably.
You're likely gonna get that.
Other than maybe the people who
Yeah,
are
I'm
in your
wondering
board
if-
of staff
do you think
attorneys,
that-
because they're required to do it every 12 years. But you're probably right, because
Yeah.
all the city attorneys will have drafted a budget, not a budget, a charter revision amendment. You know, we're changing the purchasing amount, the age of voting, or the charter. Like I
Right,
said, I think Don only mentioned that he did the one in Macomb County. He didn't even mention a second one.
right.
So.
And that's
I'll
the
put-
guy who's been around
Are you
for-
comfortable with up to 5 or? Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, do you think even 5 is kind of, considering that we know what we're getting back, you know, we know it's, how often this is done, do you think 5 is going to turn people away? Because they'll be like, I have 1, or maybe I don't have any, and you're looking for up to 5. I don't, should we do 3?
Well, does it say
I
similar
suspect you get
services?
2 or 3 from
Yeah.
the same place. You get the mayor and a council person and a manager and whatever.
I'm fine with 3 as well, because it says up to, it doesn't say you gotta have them or
Yeah.
we're disqualifying.
yeah, let's say up to 3. And it does say similar services, so,
Yeah.
I mean, if they've done any charter work, I mean, like, we know they're unlikely to have completed a full revision, but if they've done, like you said, drafting
written
charter
10
amendments,
ordinances,
like.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ordinance
something
work as
like
well.
And one
Yeah.
thing we may find someone actually worked on a charter that didn't get it done. Because that usually, I can't even think of one in my years of served, that someone put up a charter for a vote. I can't even think of one.
I don't know of any of the cities around.
Like I said, other than Dearborn, which I found was just because they had it on the ballot this time, all the other ones were charter amendments, even some cities had 4 amendments.
I think Southfield incorporated 58,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's very unusual to do a charter, so I'm fine with up to 3, because if a guy submits 1, and that's all he did, then our
Yeah.
pool's small anyways. So
Yeah, I like that.
I'd change that to up to 3. Are we done with that page? Any other, okay. Let's flip. Anything in the qualification section?
I liked everything you included. Do we want to add familiarity with Clausen? Do we think that that's important?
I don't think so.
Okay. No?
Because I don't think you're gonna find anyone,
Okay.
but I don't think it's important.
Cool.
Familiarity with the law.
And up to 10 years experience, like, should have a minimum of 10 years experience, is that pretty standard with this? Like,
I think it's somewhat low. But I hate to
This is
exclude
very
people.
broad.
Because you look at it, really,
Very-
this is probably something
this
like
is-
a municipal attorney.
Very-
Uh-huh.
This is.
And most municipal attorneys,
So,
you know,
these are
20 to
people
25
with
years
experience working with.
well, yeah, no, I mean, I honestly was wondering, I didn't know,
No,
like,
listen,
if it was a good, yeah, to, where that number came from,
if
basically.
you got, I think that would actually may have been a copy from Somerville.
Okay.
I'm fine with increasing it. Of course, it's the opposite of how many references do you have? The higher
Right.
the number. But 10, 15, 20,
I think 10 is fair.
I like
That's
10,
fair.
let's keep it open, let's, you know.
Let's keep it at 10, because if we make it too strict, then we won't.
yeah, we don't want that, the pool's small.
Yeah.
We don't want to shrink to that. It's like, oh,
10's good.
you got
You'll
one
decide when
guy
you're
that's-
interviewing. if
We're
they
gonna
have enough.
compare anyway.
Right.
Done with
Are you guys done with this, those 3 bullet points?
Yes.
that? No.
Okay, then tell us.
Place of performance,
Okay?
line 3, it's redundant.
Oh, so, okay, you skipped down. Okay, I was still at the 3 bullet points. I'm fine.
Up above, excuse
Yeah.
me.
Anything with period of performance. Again, we chose that, our hope is, we want to get this done quickly, that's why I put that December 31st date. That's when he would have his work done. Not necessarily that
Right.
we would put this on the ballot by that time, or have our public meetings or anything like that. That's what I
So
looked at.
we would not need the services of the attorney in that stage of it. When we are, you know, presenting it to the council, we're getting the buy-in, like they would be done, and then we're gonna carry the football to that zone, basically, to like get it passed. So we don't need to retain them into like the election where this is on the ballot or anything like that.
My
Like, once
belief
it's
is,
done, they're done.
I don't think we would need to. I just can't see, because I don't think at that point we'd be arguing legalese.
Right.
Unless
Because
the
it's
state,
like a
unless the
bigger
state
thing.
kicks it back.
That's,
Good point.
that's my question. If the
Good
state
point.
kicks it back, can we then try again, or is it like pass fail?
No.
No. The state will
Okay.
say,
You
this
gotta fix
article
something.
is unconstitutional according to our people.
Mhm.
If you want to fight us in court on it, fight us in court on it, or change it,
Or fix this, yes.
or fix
And if
it.
something's illegal, the Attorney General will tell us how to fix it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they
Or-
might, yeah.
She might say, it's unclear. The voters might get confused
Sure.
by this one point.
Something's
Yeah,
illegal,
they'll
we
go
didn't hire
through
the
it.
right lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably gives advice how to fix it.
Yeah. And usually the fixes are just that. It's pretty simple. It's like, yeah, maybe it's so new of a ruling from the courts that, it wasn't caught. But that's a good point.
I believe that there's an individual in the Attorney General's office.
Yeah,
George.
Yeah, that tells, all he does is this.
he's been around longer than you and me. But that's
All
possible.
right. Okay.
But there is. So, again,
So we think it's vague enough, it says that the project, we don't need to say, in the event that the governor, we're just saying, if the project's not done, it's not done, it will continue. I think that's vague enough that covers
Yeah.
us in any scenario.
no, because I think we caught that in terms of that last sentence there. It may continue into next year.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying, I think it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And chances are, you very seldom go to the governor, even on an ordinance, on a charter amendment, without this, like, hey, the comma's in the wrong place. Right? Or something like that, or use a different word. But, when you look at, my guess is they're gonna keep this probably 30 to 60 days, if not longer. Usually just an ordinance, an amendment, I've been through 2 of them, just an amendment takes 30 days minimum. This is gonna take, you want to think of it, it's gonna take probably 60 to 90 days for it to be kicked back. Okay. So, did you have something with place of performance?
Yeah, the last line in the thing, be held, will be held.
You want to change, yeah, it is better.
Yeah, just delete those 3 words.
Should we debate shall or will?
That's like my guy used to work for.
I like
Someone
shall, it
gets
seems
it
more
across,
legally.
repeat it.
What did you, yeah, I really meant it the first time I said it. What's the preference, shall or will?
Shall.
Will?
Oh, boy.
Shall.
Shall, got it?
We went there.
He did. Do we need a vote?
Okay, terms and conditions
In the last paragraph,
of terms and conditions or
Yeah.
confidentiality,
the terms and conditions.
okay?
Lines 2 and 3 are redundant.
Read to me where.
No authorized publication, duplication, or posting.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Well, at least I didn't miss anything.
No, I mean, that's what I said, if you want them to know something, say it twice and really mean it.
Yeah. I blame Word for not catching these. Okay, confidentiality. I was surprised to say such a large paragraph from the summer ago. So one thing, every bit I write, there's always a contact person. If we're buying a truck, it's the DPW director. If we're doing something else, it could be the city clerk, whatever. We gotta have a contact person. Someone that they can reach out to and say, I didn't understand. Or, you know, and that's not quite clear when the interviews are gonna be held, or whatever the case may be. Who's the contact person gonna be?
City clerk.
I'm fine with that, because he may have to come back to us anyways.
Yeah, because he knows our meeting schedules.
Right.
And he's here all the time and never takes a day off.
I took last night off.
I'm fine with that. So we're gonna list your name, your
Well, why-
email.
Well,
Oh,
why wouldn't it be one of the ad hoc?
see, that's what, I was thinking the same thing. But who speaks for the ad hoc committee?
City clerk.
No one person does.
They're about to be.
I expect to be the clearinghouse for this stuff like I am for the regular council. It's no big deal.
Right. And if it's a question he can't answer, he'll have to bring it back to us. And that's something we need to contemplate in terms of when bids are due.
Or he had contact the ad hoc committee.
Right, but he can't contact 9 of us, because
No, well, that's
those
what-
4 are gonna say yes, these 3 are gonna say no, and those 2 are on the
And
committee.
if you do that, you're violating the open meetings act
Right,
anyway.
you're round
So
robin.
you do the ad hoc committee, and if we need more from them, then we come back to you and we have a meeting. That's all it's doing.
That's the tricky part here, because he's working for 9 of us, he's not working for the city manager, who could possibly, or a department that, like I said, if it was something that the DPW was buying, that they would contact the DPW director or the library, if they were doing some work at the library. So we gotta come up with someone, and if he can't answer it, then he'll have to come back to us. So we'll have to factor that into.
Well,
If I can't answer it,
There's no.
Obviously, I don't
we're
see
gonna
it-
be fine.
No, I believe that,
Yeah.
but I don't see it being a question of, you know,
answer,
words
we're
of
good.
trouble.
I can answer it, I go to Rennis, and Rennis will tell me how to answer it. I mean, it's.
And then we want to know how you answer.
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Because probably the best way to do it, you know this, questions should be posed in writing. That way, hey, August told me something, that's not what August told me, versus verbal. But,
Well, I think August can get the question, and if the question becomes something that could be dicey, they might put it in writing, and I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna walk in any tight ropes with this stuff.
I
If
know
I'm
you're not.
crazy, I'll talk
Listen.
to the chair and see what should I go with
no,
this?
I'm not
the reason that I was concerned is because you do so much. And this may not be something that you think, no big deal, but what if we get into a situation where there's like a back and forth and that just takes a lot of your time? So that's why I was a little concerned about it, because,
I have no problem punting things to you guys.
Okay.
If it's gets.
Or if it's illegal, if it's illegal.
Legal question, I'll talk to Rennis, and it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll-
Brad,
we'll
what
get
do you
it.
think?
Well, Madam Chair, I think the questions that people are going to ask are about their proposal itself, right? They're asking questions, they're asking for clarification of
Right.
this
Yeah.
and about how to put something in their proposal. So I think for the most part, since the proposals are going to the city clerk anyway, August ought to be pretty good to go to answer those kinds of questions. And it would surprise me if it would have to go any deeper than that with the rest of us. I feel like that's safe to let him be the point of contact.
Tracy?
I think to clarify the situation, because I'm understanding like where you're coming from with getting answers from different people. I mean, my take on it is they go through August. 99% of the time, he's probably gonna be able to take care of it. If something comes up that has to come back to us, the primary, we can all be CC'd so we know what's going on. The primary questions go to Joe and Brad because you were the authors of the document. And the final answers come from one of you. That way, we know what's going on, but you're not looking for answers from everyone. So when the final answers come from one of you, if we have a situation where one of us disagrees, which I don't see that happening in this case, then we could worry about it. But, I mean, does that seem like a plan for everybody as far as that flow, if it's necessary? I honestly don't think it's going to be, but if it is, does that work for everybody?
I was going to say, we're not making decisions for the group. We're just answering questions
Yeah.
about the proposal.
So as the authors, it just makes sense to,
When I get the final marked up version of this, I'm going to run it by Rennis anyway to see if he catches any legal vagueness or anything, we can get ahead of that anyway. I'm not, no matter what we come up with, I'm not just firing that off the mitten until I send it to Rennis anyway. Just to say, oh, wait, flag, no lawyer's ever going to do this, or no proposal's ever going to come, just to get that other set of eyes on it. Technically, he's still the city attorney, so.
Something we need to factor into our dates.
Yeah.
Another thing that came.
That'll be a one-day thing.
I'm not saying it's not, I'm not criticizing, I'm just making it clear. We need to factor that into our dates. Because if we give it to them on a Friday, we're not gonna see it till Monday. And if there's a change, then it's like.
Right,
so it's
people
just
put a million holes in it.
Right, just another thing to factor into our dates. Believe me, that's not a criticism, it's just something, like I said, that advertising date is moving backwards, and that's fine. We gotta get this right. And that's the nice thing about all of us looking at it.
well, we just read through it in 35 minutes, so that's a bonus.
Because you guys did your homework. Which is really a welcome sign. I sit on boards where I can see people open up the packet at the meeting.
They turn as they're walking in.
Yeah, they turn as they're walking in.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I could expect intelligent comments from him or her.
They're reading it while you're trying to read it.
And making themselves look foolish.
You know, I had a councilman say to me, why are you giving me all this paperwork to read? I can't get that to read this.
You chose
Julia.
the wrong job.
Talia. Sorry.
It's okay.
Is it Talia or Talia?
Yes, Ms. Parker, you have the floor.
It's Talia.
Okay.
I think one of the things that we do need to put in here too is that for pricing and whatnot, it does not need to be flexible. I do think it is pertinent for us to actually say that we do need a firm price. It does also mention that having an addendum if there is any changes, that it does have to come through us. So in the case that we do decide to make any concrete changes, we will be able to already have a base for that, and they can already have that for our records too. So if we do decide to, like we said, possibly push things out, that would be the time where we would actually could issue an addendum if we chose to put in a date for a possibility of ending. If we did not, if that was the tentative part, and that might be something that Rennis has an issue with, or he says that we need to give a clear timetable, because that's going to be based off of their pricing that they give us. I think that's one of the things that we should probably look into, just for that. I must say, I know that we said we would come down and get an idea of dates and whatnot, and there will be a table that kind of has that laid out. But I think that would be a lot more helpful for us to gauge, one, where our budget's going, two, what their expectations are and what their actual schedules can be. I think it just puts a little bit more, and not just that qualifying, not the qualifications, but that scope of work. Can you balance this with other things? Are there going to be times where you have other projects that might come along? It just gives us clear communication skills with them. That's it.
And I'm not quite sure how to handle that on a legal basis as far as like having our open end date like that. Because I understand what you're saying. Because I did think it was a little bit like we're saying, okay, our end date will be December 31st of 2022. But if we're not done, we'll go into the next year. Like it is like, I see where you're saying we want like a more solid set idea.
I did write, and it was like just an idea. It was like, will end upon review and acceptance of allocated government official. I feel like that might be, if we don't plan on changing that, that might be a little bit more of like we said, we know it might be a tentative, open-ended kind of thing. So that might be just verbiage that we can use as like a tell for them as well.
Let me ask a clarifying question. So, your concern is, you talked about December 31 as a date that we put in the RFP. And so you're thinking about the amount of time that a consultant might estimate he or she will work on the project and they'll be charging us by the hour,
Yeah.
right? In addition to other charges that'll be outlined. So the spirit of your question is, we want to know how long they think it's going to take them to do the work, because time is money.
Right.
And you want to make sure that when we do make our selection, we have a good handle on about what we think it's going to cost based on what we've heard from the consultants that we've
Yeah, that's what I'm
asked
just,
to propose.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know that giving a date is very kind of like, right now, as we're talking about it, is very kind of like, we're not pretty sure what this is, what we're working towards, but we're also asking them to provide a price. You know, we're asking them to provide a service. The service is going to take time. You know, whatever they're going to give us right now can be completely different what is stretched between a full 12 months until the next year. Or if it even is 6 months, we might have a different price. So that's what I'm saying, if we decide to give them at any point at the ending of this an addendum saying like, hey, you know, reassess what you've got going on, you know, will this still be the same pricing for this time? You know, where are we at? It'll let them know that we're still open to that extending service, so we're not going to leave them out. It also gives them the comfort of knowing like, hey, you know, we're going to go back to the timetable that you're giving us, but this is not under the full condition of, you know, this has to be done this day, this time, this hour. I think it just gives them more comfort when you're looking at all of the just the jargon that's in the paperwork.
So if you put this out, no one is going to get you a firm price. What we're going to get from every attorney is an hourly rate. We use that attorney as much or as little as we want to use him or her. So no one is going to come in here and say, I can do this for $38,000. Because he has, attorneys work on time. That's all they work on. They don't work on projects, they work on time. And the only benefit would be if he's, again, attorneys schedule themselves, who knows how many hours. I have no clue, 25 hours. My first mayor was an attorney, said, I like billing 25 hours a day. It was a joke. But, you know, that's what, and I remember the other thing he told me after I was there a month, he goes, you gotta stop calling me. He goes, if I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to clients, and I'm not billing clients. I'm not billing you.
Jeff Sherbo?
Yeah, it's Jeff Sherbo. And so all we can get from these people is an hourly rate. And the only thing that might impact the total cost would be, depending on when their fiscal year is their hourly rate may change next year, whatever, December 31st. Our rates always change July 1 in the municipal field.
Okay, so to that point, if they're, you know, we have a meeting and, you know, they bill us for an hour because we were in a meeting together, and then the next morning, they're thinking about our charter in the shower, are they
Yes.
gonna bill us then?
Yes.
Like, so we
Yes.
kinda need them to estimate how much time they think they're going to be working on it.
Samantha, I agree with you. I mean, you know what he'll say? A lot of it depends on you guys. How much work are you guys gonna
Sure.
do? How often are you gonna meet? Are you gonna expect me to come to your meetings? Because if we can Zoom him in, we save 2 hours. I would have been at every meeting, an hour to travel here and an hour to go home.
Did Skip say how much money they spent on the Macomb Charter?
No.
I don't
did, I
think
don't
we
remember.
did.
They
No,
had a
we
All he
didn't
said
do
was
that.
you don't have enough money
Right
now.
Yeah.
That's all he said.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
They had a budget of 120 and they spent 80
He
to
said you didn't have
85.
money, is what he told me.
Oh, that's all. I would
Really?
have thought they just spent a lot more.
Damn.
You said that's the Macomb Charter?
No, but
Yeah, the county also.
County also.
Yeah.
You gotta think about how many things you think you're gonna send home. You know what I mean? Like, you think of it in terms of he's right here as you're making your decisions. Nope, can't do that.
Yeah.
Scratch that off.
Right.
But is he gonna be taking anything, what do you send home to think about in the shower?
And then remember,
Or is he just getting paid to be here? you
he
know?
brings a draft, and he spent 2 hours on it, right? And then we
Right.
mark it up. So he goes back and changes it. Okay, maybe it's strictly secretarial. He spends an hour, right? Then he brings it back, and we got more changes, right? So again, it's a lot of it is based on, do we do our homework, and are we gonna nitpick this thing to death?
I just worry about us being too flexible.
To what?
Too flexible.
Attorneys like attorneys like.
Rennis doesn't bill by the hour, Rennis is on retainer.
100%? Very unusual. But you know one thing, Rennis is not gonna lose any money, and that's not a negative comment.
No.
They can't. All he can sell is his time. He can't sell anything else. So he's gotta make sure I I don't want to earn 38 cents an hour.
Yeah, we only have 20 grand, he needs to make more than that in a year.
What's his monthly rate?
20 until,
That's 80 grand a year.
Sorry, Brad, you laid his hand up.
so that's,
Anything above and beyond the regular stuff he does bill, like court time.
that's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Court time.
So he's making
This isn't gonna have court time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lawsuits are incorporated usually as well, just standard stuff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do labor negotiations most likely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't tell you that. I don't have it in front of me.
They'll work for us as long as we pay them.
Yeah, boom.
They'll keep taking our money just as long as we keep giving it
Someone
to
might
them.
say 10 grand until you're done.
Yeah, but it seems like, as Joe said, so attorneys bill by the hour. So in their price sheet that we are requesting, we'll know what they're gonna bill us. We'll know what they're gonna bill us for. We talked about faxes and copies and travel time and stuff like that. But remember, we're including the charter in the RFP.
Yeah.
So that by the time those that we pick to come interview with us, and we have an opportunity to ask them questions directly, what do you see in there? What do you think we need to work on? We as a deliberative body ought to get a feel for what each attorney feels like he or she is going to need to do, right, with us. And as we deliberate that, it ought to give us a feel for how much time are we getting a sense each one of these consultants thinks it's going to take or is going to put into it.
And we should ask that in writing as well.
Exactly. So, part of, we're asking for proposals, but the real important step is when we read those proposals, choose which people to bring in, ask them a lot of questions, take notes, and then as a body deliberate the pros and cons of each one. And we'll get a fairly good idea, I think, among the 9 of us.
Yeah, because that's another thing,
Yeah,
like.
who's gonna
we don't
cost the
know-
most.
Yeah, we don't know, like, do they have to be here at every single meeting? Can we have just the question and answer? Do they have to be at workshops? When is it most beneficial to have them here, for that timing, so.
And that's a question that I want to, sorry, I'm out of order. I didn't ask for permission to speak. But
Excused.
I want to say that one of the things that we're asking these consultants for is to describe to us how
Their project.
they recommend that we go about. It's like when Skip came in, one of the reasons we brought Skip in is he laid, you remember, he laid it all out for us. This is how it works.
I watched that meeting because I wasn't here. I watched it again. He lays it all out for you.
Right.
So here's my question based on RRP. We have a very strict confidentiality agreement. So we're asking for these people who have experience. Are they gonna be able to, tell us what they did previously if they had also agreed to a strict
I think once it's
confidentiality
done-
clause?
once they're
it's done,
done-
it's over? Because ours doesn't really say that. It's just like, hey, you can't talk about it, so.
No, that confidentiality it's with an ongoing client.
Okay.
At a certain point in time, when he gives us a document, here's your first draft, that's a foilable document.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's all the, he can't go to other people and say, oh, here's what they're working on in Clawson,
Okay.
or whatever the case may be. And attorneys usually don't have a problem with this anyways. I mean, this is really standard. It's their work product.
Yeah, that's right. They don't want us giving it away either.
Right,
So
they don't
we-
want us giving it away either, because I
Right.
can't charge the next client $180 an hour to prepare this.
Okay.
But once it becomes public, boom.
But you
Next-
think that they would be free to give us the details of how many hours they build and their, and.
Yes,
sure.
You know why, we could back into that if we knew that Sterling Heights was their client, we could go FOIA the documents. If the guy said, oh, no, that's strictly, once he submits it, and the nice thing is, when he submits a bill, they always, I love this, they charge you to submit a bill for you to pay it. I just love that, when they do that, it's like, oh my God. He's gonna submit a bill, he's gonna break down how he spent his time. Probably, I've seen attorney in 6/10, and I've seen attorney in 10th and then 6-minute interval. He'll tell you, I spent 2 hours reviewing the document, I spent an hour and a half attending the commission meeting. I spent another 2 hours incorporating the changes that were made into the document. And you'll get that at the end of the month, and that way we can see, it's like, oh, looks like he's doing work that we really didn't think he'd be doing.
Okay, that's good to know. So that will all be part of the public record and we will
Oh,
be able to
absolutely.
look back.
And again, that
Because
bill
I would love
has
to
to be
ask
paid-
specific questions, when we're interviewing these people about their past experience. I just want to make sure that we're able to drill down into those details.
You
because I
will
think
be
it
able
will
to drill
help
down,
us.
and you'll be able, I'm telling you, when there's someone who comes unprepared, he or she will stand right out. I mean, it's like, they read the RFP like 10 minutes before they came to the interview. It's like, they'll stand out. And remember, once he submits a bill, goes on the list of bills, they gotta pay it, it's a public document.
Okay. Good to know.
The nice thing is, everything that we do is gonna be so public that, you know, no one can say, oh, they kept this to meetings to a secret. They're paying attorneys some ungodly amount.
Cool.
But yeah, we do need to put something in there. In general, I like your idea, but it can't be that confined, because no one will give you a fixed price, because they can't lose money. And whatever we think it's gonna take, he's gonna double that in terms of hours, if we're asking for a fixed price.
It's like construction. It's gonna
Yes.
cost twice as much, no matter what.
Yeah, you take the wall down and find out, look at all these secret things that we just found. You're right, that's exactly what Tribune is.
Talia, you're young enough to go back to law school.
Dude, it's
You can
okay.
make a career
Yeah,
change right
you can
now.
bill people for what you think in the shower.
And they'll teach you that there's 25 hours in a day.
Well, they bill on, a lot of them bill on 15-minute, most of them bill on 15-minute
Yeah.
hours.
I've seen it on 6 minutes.
That's 6 minutes, but
Oh,
that's,
goodness.
well, Kingstop here used to get 480.
Well, thank you guys for the work that you put into this. and
Yeah, it's
thorough,
nice.
And thank you for having reviewed this, because it shows that you guys did review this. That's important. Otherwise, we'd be here till 9 o'clock and maybe at the next meeting, doing the same crap.
Good.
So Samantha, you and I will work together, and Brandon
Yes.
will get you back, and like I said, the contact person, I'll come up with the wording, it's gonna be you. You have, I can't remember, they gotta go through a switchboard to get to you, right? Or does the phone system change?
No, you can, there's just,
You have a direct
I
dial?
have a direct dial. Well, I have a,
Extension X?
Yeah, I think it's 118. I'll make sure, I'll double check. I don't have any of my cards.
Right. Give me your card.
It's either 116 is Jennifer, 118 I think is directed to me.
Is that what you want to put?
There's a reason we had you behind 116.
So your card says 116?
I think it does.
Smart going. That is smart, the call never comes through to you.
Sorry, now I know.
But I answer either one.
Everybody knows.
Now everybody knows. No, usually, I also know
It
that.
also has my cell phone on it, so.
When I email you,
He's a good guy, though.
you always get back really quickly,
You
so
know.
it's not like it's necessary for anything different.
Yes,
Yes.
next week.
No,
So, like, tonight, like, is our goal from this point, I'm just trying to understand how we're moving forward. Do we want to then, create our timeline tonight, and then we come back together at the next meeting? Is 2 weeks a reasonable time to have our final?
Absolutely, it's got to be. Samantha and I and Brad and whoever else, we will get this done.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that for administrative purposes. Tonight, we got our markup. I'll run it by Rennis. The next meeting, the process will be, any changes Rennis suggests, you'll either, review, accept them or not, plug in those final dates, vote on it. The next day, it'll be up on Mitten.
Good.
Okay.
And
That's how I see this playing out right now.
23rd.
I think that's good. August, you're going to submit this one to him?
The 22nd.
The one that we got today, or the final one? I didn't quite grasp.
The markup, with the one with the chart and everything, all the
Okay,
changes.
fine. That's okay.
Yeah, why give them a half done?
No.
Just point out the
The reason
same
I
stuff
asked
you
you-
guys did. This and is doubled, that
No,
kind of
I
stuff.
asked for a different reason.
Yeah,
Got it.
the marked up one whenever, and I'm gonna get that, this will all be done administratively before the next meeting. I mean, I can have it for you after Rennis reviews it by the Thursday before the next meeting.
Okay, so that would be the 17th. Our next meeting would be the 22nd. So then our goal is to have it live on the 23rd.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's easy. I have the passwords, I have the permissions, I have all that there. Once I get the dates from you, I put all that in, go. Just wait for them to come rolling in.
Post the date right there.
The library.
Yes.
Yep.
Probably.
Brad, can you be Saturday morning, 9 o'clock at the library?
This Saturday?
Yes.
I would love to.
You're weird.
Wait,
No, it
can
will
you?
get me out of the salesperson coming to our house.
Oh, there you go.
My schedule, so.
The one that says, is your husband home? Is your wife home?
Is this really girl?
That's the one. That's
9
the
o'clock
one.
Saturday morning at the
Yeah,
library?
that's fine.
Oh, okay, so that was next on our agenda, actually, to propose a date for the city to send out the,
No,
February
look
20th.
at us, we took care of that.
Yep.
Day after.
So the three of us will be 9 o'clock Saturday morning. at the
cruising right
library.
along.
Then I'll look for something Monday, and I'll get it right over to Rennis,
Yeah.
so that I can have it thumbs up or and we'll bring the changes the next week.
If he's making ministerial changes, he doesn't have to come back here. If he's-
Well, I don't expect much, I don't expect that, so.
Just
Yeah, we should have it though.
I got at least run it by you guys on that Thursday, that meeting.
What's that?
It's included in this base price,
Tennessee.
Okay, next on the agenda is.
I'm sorry, real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tracy.
I just want to, like, going back to Talia's concerns, like, do you feel like we, like, discussed them? Like,
No, it makes sense.
Are you
what he's
comfortable
saying.
with?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
completely okay with that. Like, because what he said, them having a fixed price, I completely understand because that does back them into a wall. They might actually feel more negative about it than anything else.
They would. And my guess is, the only reason you stated that, because that's what you're used to doing.
And it made sense to me, you know?
With the fixed price or the hourly?
Well, no, like, her concerns, like, they made sense to me.
I take her concerns seriously. That's
Yeah.
why, like, Rennis, our city attorney, works on a, what is it?
It's a retainer.
Yeah, it's,
Retainer.
yeah, 6,500 a month. Fixed price, it includes A through whatever. Anything over that is on an hourly basis. This one is so unpredictable.
I just didn't want you to feel like we kind of brushed over it.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll say, I know that at some point we're gonna cover like if what it said in here is like cost of labor, possible gas, those are things that are gonna be tied up into that. So that'll probably give us a better idea of where we're gonna do with things, what we're gonna, like, how we're gonna go about how our meetings are
And
going.
they'll present it that way.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
so that would actually, that's why I'm okay with it.
Okay, it all kind of went fast, and I'm like, well, wait, did we address what you were like, you know,
Because
bringing
he made
up?
a
I
good
just wanted to
point.
make
He
sure.
made a good statement because I was worried about being too flexible, but not being flexible enough.
Yeah,
Read
which I
the right,
get.
the wrong kind of way.
I think we're
Yeah.
incorporating our ideas with different words. Their points were good.
There is nothing that says you have to select what they give you.
Yeah, that's it.
You can always negotiate some of that
With a
stuff.
professional service,
We
absolutely.
can always negotiate that stuff after they come to this. No, well, will you do it for this much?
And he may
There's
say
your
things
contract
like,
negotiations.
I
That's
can't,
it.
if you don't have me come to the meetings where I lose an hour and an hour, if we can Zoom most of the meetings, I can change my price. Because that's dead time for them.
Okay,
You know, there are other
something
things
to
like
that.
think about.
Something they're gonna
Yeah,
charge
something to
us.
You know,
think
there's
about.
a lot of things that, like I said, because they don't want, they would have more clients, expand the base, because more clients bring more work in the future. Because he's not coming back here, or she's not coming back here for 70 or 80 years. So we're not, you know, it's like an oncologist. If you're not successful, you lose patients really quickly. And the other thing we need to look at are the time, we should come up with a timeline on Saturday.
Answer.
And then we gotta choose that date for interviews based on that timeline. Giving us enough time to review the proposals and giving them enough time to say, we wanna come and talk to you. And not next Saturday or this Saturday, but like 2 Saturdays from now, whenever we decide to choose.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else?
Who's going to be here?
Okay, so the next on the agenda is gonna be commissioner comments. We kinda just went over that. Nobody has anything else?
I have a comment. I'm not gonna be able to make the 15th. After last night, I think they know me.
That's, I'm glad you brought that up, because, I won't be able to either. Oh, wait, you're talking about
The city council.
the city council, okay. All right,
It's a week from tonight.
Well, just to introduce ourselves?
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've already written up something that we're gonna go over. It's pretty basic, but it just tells a little bit of, what we've already done so far, and I'll introduce everybody. Do you want to introduce yourselves, or do you want me to introduce you?
I'm fine with you.
I don't mind. Do
I'm
you
fine
want
with
to
that.
introduce?
Unless you ask me to speak, there's no reason I need to introduce myself.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll just, that's what we'll do. That'll work out fine. Okay, so Wayne, we will,
I mean, I think for those of us that can't be there, you might mention that, you know, the other commissioners are not here, so and so and so and so. but-
Yeah, we should. Yeah, you will be mentioned, absolutely.
yeah, I have your name on there. In fact, I wasn't sure if you would be here because I already sent something to the city manager because they needed it. And I think I did mention in there that you were gonna be in Florida.
Yeah, well,
So if it was changed, I would've just
I
changed
may
it
be
that
going back,
night.
it all depends, my wife's already on me now.
Okay, so whichever, we will still mention you, so,
Thank you very much.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, they'll like to hear that.
Okay. The other thing we should talk about is, I'm gonna be out of town the next meeting, the next Charter Commission meeting. And I was thinking, Vice Chair can take over,
You're in the breach, baby.
but he said he will not be there either. So can we please discuss not being at the next meeting, or,
Will there be enough for a quorum?
yeah, will there be enough for a quorum? And do we want to
What's the date of
discuss
that?
The 22nd.
February 22nd?
You don't count on me.
I will be there. I will be there.
You will be
I
there.
will be there.
I will be
Hands,
in.
who can be here? Or five.
Then I'll just
So-
facilitate a quick election to temporarily chair the meeting. That's how that would be done.
Okay.
So that's quorum.
So there would be 6 of us.
We'll just do a quick election that, a nomination for the temporary chair.
We have a check
Okay.
in case someone can't. we're still
And do we do
fine.
that now?
I would wait and see who's here.
Oh, so you can do it the...
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly do a vice or second vice chair, wouldn't really do that. You wait until that meeting, see who's here, and then we'll just, someone wants to nominate, we'll vote on it, appoint a temporary chair, and then we'll just run the meeting, that's all.
So do we need to acknowledge, I mean, obviously, the fact that we want to accept the final RFP that day, is there any acknowledgement that we have to do by the people that aren't here?
No.
They're just accepting it by not being here, they're accepting our decision? Okay,
Yeah, as long as you have quorum, it's a binding vote.
okay.
If they're not here, they're not here. So,
If we don't like what you're doing, we'll come back from Tennessee.
We'll be
and
just
Chicago.
fine. Okay. All right, what's next?
Public comment.
Yeah, public comment for items not on the agenda.
Andrea?
Just came to listen.
Well, you guys kind of go, I used to work for an attorney and I did all his billing.
Can you speak up, because you may not be able to be picked up.
Sure. I used to work for an attorney and I did all his billing, so I exactly know how they're gonna bill you. You can negotiate it, you can say, hey, you know what, I don't wanna be charged for phone calls, because they're gonna charge you for every 15 minutes, no matter if they even talk to you for 15 minutes, you're being charged for it. You can negotiate that. And also, I mean, if you really wanna reduce some costs, you could make sure that he doesn't type anything up unless it's his own, his notes to go review something. Because if you're redoing the charter and you want things typed up and you want him to type it up, he's gonna have his legal assistant or whoever type it up. So now you're getting 2 charges, because you're gonna get what she's billing, and you're also gonna get what he's billing, but he's written it and given it to her. So, I mean, you could circumvent that and just have it done in-house, or, I mean, you can do a lot of things, and if he's just coming here or she to sit there and just tell you what's, good with the law, what not. I mean, most of your billable hours will be here, and I do have to agree, if you can do it Zoom, so you don't have to pay for their drive time, because you're also probably gonna pay for mileage, you're gonna pay for a lot of things that they're gonna stick you with to come here. So if you do it by Zoom, you're gonna be saving $350 an hour. So, I mean, you can do things like that, and I'm assuming they'll probably work with you, because they're just gonna see this as, all right, well, I'm gonna come here for a couple hours, listen, if you guys have questions and I have to go look for it back at the law, I'm gonna charge you a couple hours to do my research and maybe $100 to type something up. I don't see them doing any much more than that. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thanks, man.
I didn't think about when he has his assistant work on things, yeah, I didn't think.
it's all, he'll have to present it all.
Yeah.
Administrative fees.
Yeah, it's all.
Can we Zoom meetings and the person that we're Zooming with appear on camera?
Excuse me, they'd be on a monitor.
No, that's fine, but I mean, he's gonna be recorded, so that way it's not just us talking, that people are watching our meeting, you want them to be able to hear and see what he or she is saying to us.
Yeah, it would be a little different configuration.
But as long as you know in advance, you can do that.
Yeah, we would set that up ahead of time. if that
Boom,
was
got
what you wanted.
it. So we're covered that way too.
So next,
That's a
we'd like to
technical
talk about the live stream YouTube. So currently, because because the planning commission is live streamed on the City of Clawson channel, that's why we're not live streamed. And so what they've been doing is they have been taking what they video and then they put it up later afterwards so that it's available. So tonight, Brad actually said that there is another option that we could think about, and that's why we would like to discuss it with you now, is if we have another channel that they can start another channel and they're willing to do this, then we can live stream on that channel, and then we can be live streamed at the same time as the planning commission. So we have an opportunity to do that. Does anybody have any questions
Kim, would you
about
like to
that?
explain that? As to why
Yeah.
it's also why we flipped the room around.
Essentially, you hit it right on the head, Madam Chair. Currently, because YouTube only allows one live stream at a time, those guys are getting it. So, the way we deal with that is we can set up another YouTube channel. We can brand it to look just like Clawson, like we have this one currently set up. And then we would put a link on the website, the homepage of Clawson, so that people could find it. We would call it, Clawson YouTube Channel 2 or something like that. And then, but at that point, we could have the meetings live streamed and then available for instant replay. As soon as the meeting's done, you can start watching them back over again.
And I like that.
Question, could we then, my concern with that, I mean, I think live streaming is good, but I think most people just go to YouTube and search City of Clawson. I don't think they're going to the website and clicking a link. So could we then basically double map our meetings on the regular, like the main Clawson
Oh,
YouTube
absolutely.
channel?
We could put links on the Clawson regular, call it Clawson 1. We could put links to Clawson 2.
Okay.
And vice versa.
Because I would want our meetings to exist in the same, on the same channel as the city council meetings and those meetings that everyone else is watching. Because like I said, I don't think most people are linking to the YouTube stuff from the website. They're just going directly to YouTube.
And
So they're not gonna be able to find us if they go there and type City of Clawson.
Okay.
Is there a cost to set up a second channel?
No cost.
Okay, and my next question is, if we do want to Zoom, how would we do that and be able to see? Would we be able to set up some type of TV in here?
Yeah, so the way we do a lot of these, they call them hybrid meetings, right? That's a popular phrase now. And we do a lot of them in southeastern Michigan here for different cities and townships. What you would need is a display monitor so that you could see the person out on Zoom. Then we would use our camera that we have here, that would be their camera that they would see you all on their end. And then that combined Zoom picture, that whole Zoom picture, we would then live stream to YouTube.
Okay, and then it records that.
And it's recorded at the same
okay.
time, yeah. And if there's presentations or anything, it's pretty slick, actually. If there's a presentation, you would just log in as a participant, and then you do a screen share, then everybody sees it. It would be the far end attorney in this case, the people on YouTube would see it. It works quite well. Zoom's done a really good job with that.
Okay.
August, do we have a large screen TV that, could a large
Yes, we
screen
have the
TV
monitors.
serve that?
Yeah, live screen TV,
Yeah.
some kind of monitor. I would recommend for this size room, probably 65-inch at least.
We got the big one. It's in the city council chambers right now. It's usually in here, but they wheeled it in there for a presentation. Zoom's great. It's really only used for public comment and/or presentations. You cannot zoom in and vote. That's not legal. All those orders expired. So don't get any ideas.
But we can have the attorney on.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
that's-
I want
if-
attorney on.
Okay.
If that's a thing, if it's an option, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's,
Okay.
And so you said that right after it would be available again for immediate playback. How long are those videos available after initial meeting? Do those stay available?
For eternity.
Okay.
And just to clarify, so we're talking about two different things here. The YouTube live stream by itself, without the Zoom component, there would be no charge. if you want to add Zoom, unfortunately, you have to pay for licenses and different things with that, so there would be an additional fee for that.
Those are usually trivia, aren't they?
Do you want residents to call into it? If you do, then I have to have an 800 number and they charge me a fortune.
No, I just want the consultant.
We just want to be able to talk with the person, you know, the attorney, whoever's there.
I guess all those meetings, so just so I'm clear, when we're doing these meetings, the attorney's gonna be on the TV, we'll be recording these meetings, but we stipulated him that he could not share documents, reports with our MP.
What do you mean?
Before.
I'm sorry, is there a question on the table?
No, I'm.
No, you're talking about
Yeah.
confidentiality.
Yeah, I'm asking because we requested confidentiality from him
Mhm.
or her.
It's a public meeting anyway. We're-
Public stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, we're talking about two different things right now. We're
Mhm.
talking about live streaming on a new YouTube channel. We're also talking about a possible cost-saving measure of having our attorneys join us on Zoom rather than come in person. To me, the live stream question is one we can answer tonight. The other is a matter to discuss at a later time, once we start talking
Well, I think
numbers
it's
with the
good that we
judges.
know that it can happen.
Right, so-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. Okay.
We know we're capable of that, but the question you brought to the table is, do we want to live stream on a Clausen 2 YouTube channel? And if there's no additional cost, then
Yeah, if we can do the secondary.
Why not?
then That's fine.
I think that makes sense.
But it is a concern, like you said, Tracy, was it? Or was it?
Might have been Samantha.
Okay. There was a concern that if they're looking for it right from YouTube and they say City of Clausen, if there are, because I think there's 2 City of Clausen YouTubes right now.
There's
And
an
if we
old
had
one that.
another one.
Yeah, there's an old one that someone started, but I'm seeing a lot of the traffic come from the website. That seems to be where I'm noticing most of it, because there isn't a specific ID in the URL of the Clausen YouTube channel. So you don't put in YouTube/Clausen. You have to put in YouTube and then a series of characters. So then the question is, well, how do people get to it? Well, Google search obviously is one way. Then of course, if you look at the Clausen homepage, there's a couple different places. There's a YouTube tab, and I think if you go into government, there's another place you can get at it. So there's a couple different, and we can even add more. We can put it all over the homepage if we want.
Okay, so it's doable. The details we can work out.
Yes.
Okay.
Like a commission hot button on the website.
I wouldn't call it City of Clausen 2, I'd call it City of Clausen Charter Commission.
Charter Commission.
Yeah, you
agree
call
with
it-
you.
Yeah.
Because that's what people are searching for.
That's right.
Call it
Yeah.
City of
That's what they're
Clausen
searching for.
D.
Yeah,
No, that's
okay.
fair. I mean, that's
The
good that you
deuce.
actually have those metrics, that you know that the majority of traffic is, I mean, I'm just going by my own, like, how I get to it. I don't go to the website like that. To me, that, you know, is an unnecessary click. But if that's how the majority of our citizens are finding it, then that's great. Then that's easy.
Okay, so does anybody want to make a motion to go ahead with the live stream?
Move it.
I'll second it.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Thank you for the suggestion, we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you
Yeah,
for the
no worries.
information.
And then we'll discuss later about the Zoom, and if we have any questions, if we can get back to you and, or through August, or,
Yeah, absolutely. If
Then
there's any questions that come up, you know, I'm 7 days a
Yep.
week, so somebody can get a hold of me. You know, August has my number.
Okay.
I'm willing to, you know, provide whatever support I can.
And you'll be here
Okay.
too. Are you going to be doing all the meetings?
No, I have a team of people. I just happen to be available tonight.
Got it.
And I try to circle people through the different clients to
Good.
keep that muscle memory going.
Good.
okay.
Is this the first meeting you've broadcast where the people at the table have broken the fourth wall?
No, well, it's amazing what we come up with.
First time you've ever got to be a part of a meeting instead of just,
Yeah.
No, because Ken talks to all the participants, like when we used to zoom in and stuff, like he was the one calling on the callers.
He's a director as well.
Yeah.
He directs the, yeah, producer,
Yeah,
director.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very used to being the host moderator for many of the calls.
Yeah.
I think it's,
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's why we're black, and we're supposed to, you know, us behind the camera, we're supposed to kind of fade into the background and not be so present, but you're right, I'm breaking the rule here of talking, so.
Okay, excellent. So,
I think we got a lot accomplished today.
yeah, the other thing I just wanted to mention real quick is, we don't have to vote on this or anything like this, but if anybody has their bios or images, please send them to August.
You're not gonna vote on it, but I am gonna judge your picture.
Yeah.
Can you take
You
off,
set a new standard with your glamour shot today.
August,
Yeah.
can you take off weight?
No, I'm not going to touch up your photos, I'm sorry.
Okay,
If you don't want a picture, you don't have to give me a picture.
Have
If you don't
to
want a bio, you don't have to give me a bio, but we
Thursday
just
or
wanna know you don't wanna do it, so that I won't worry, I won't pester you for it, so.
I was gonna send a picture.
okay, so, so I guess we can discuss the next agenda, for the next agenda. It looks like we will be coming back and we will be looking at
Finalize that RFP.
finalize the RFP.
Yeah, with Rennis's changes and solidifying our dates for
Yeah, exactly.
the RFP, which goes live anticipating the 23rd.
Okay,
Whenever I get it from the group, I'll give it to Rennis, and we'll have it by that Thursday, so you guys can have it for the agenda, you know,
okay,
put it in the packet there.
okay, sounds good. So if anybody would like to motion for adjourn, unless anybody has any
I
questions.
second it.
Okay.
I did it.
So it's like, I'm out of here.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
And